Hello and welcome to another episode of Front End Horse Live. My name is Alex Trost. I am your host, and with us today is David Fitzgibbon. David, how's it going?
Good. Delighted to be here. Excited to get on the show, and yeah, looking forward to making some fish swim.
Yeah, it's gonna be. You came to me with such a cool idea. You're like, hey, you asked for people to come on the other day. I would love to teach people this, and I'm like, this is really neat. This is great, and we love. Richard, thank you so much for the sub. Really appreciate it, and Ben, thank you for that sub. I greatly appreciate you both. Welcome. Yeah, you kind of offered. Hey, I've got this awesome fish swimming animation. How to make this fish move on an SVG path, and would you like to do that on stream? I'm like, absolutely would. I think I can speak on behalf of chat. Front end fish, love it. That anytime I get the chance to work with Three.js or rather learn more about Three.js, I'm jumping at that chance because it's just such a fun tool to learn, and like, I don't know, there's something just so satisfying about 3D on the web that yeah, anything Three.js, I'm like, yes, I want to do that. I want to do it, absolutely.
And there are so many nooks and crannies to it. I mean, what you see in the documentation and the examples, if you actually go into the files, there's more and more again.
All of the examples, there's just like, you could do that in Three.js. There's just so much to it. It's such a huge tool that like I don't know how many people can say they know Three.js, like just know it. But being handy with it, being dangerous with it is pretty fun. And Viniac, I'm so sorry. My stutter is so bad today, chat. It's just been all day, so I'm going to be stuttering on lots of stuff. Apologies in advance. Viniac says that they agree. Three.js is fun. It's just a good time. But before we get too deep into this, David, you want to introduce yourself to the chat who might not know who you are?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm a front-end developer. I did psychology applied to IT in college.
Cool.
Which was a really interesting little mix.
Yeah.
And trying to have that kind of connection with people, but doing the code part, I ended up on the front end because that's where you're right there with the user.
Connecting to people, that makes sense.
Yeah. I went through a whole lot of jobs making like big, with the local telephone network. I was doing their website, and there's a list of phones, and I worked for a car company. It was a list of cars, and I was starting to feel like this is a lot of lists of things. I've kind of done this before, so I found more the creative coding end. So
you went to work for Santa. Oh, okay, no, okay. I assume that was a natural career progression, but that makes sense too.
Close, get in there. I'm working for one of the bigger publishers in Ireland, and I get to make lots of little creative things that help the articles, and kind of like what Rich Harris was doing for the New York Times, but in a much smaller way.
That's so cool.
That's where I'm at the moment.
That's awesome that you get to do that. Like, yeah, I mean, just like the Rich Harris, like creative front end, like editorial content is really, really neat.
Exactly.
Wow, I love that. Ed just gifted 5 subs. Thank you so much, Ed. You've gifted so many subs. I truly appreciate the support. Really, really great to have you around. And yeah, thank you so much. So just real quick, for anyone who wants, okay, deleting this ref. You never send refs to friends. That's the rule. You don't do it. Monica's here, and she got a gifted sub. Awesome, perfect. So dropping in David's Twitter and website. I mean, yeah, cool. Just making sure that was the right one. And yeah, so David, thrilled to have you on. You've been popping in the Discord and in the stream chat the last couple of weeks, and it's just been awesome to have you around. What do we want to do to get started here? Because actually, here's the thing. I completely forgot this, but chat, we're going to play a log, and we're going to say, oh, we're doing this live so that we can all know what we're doing. So the today's steps next to your, or actually it's underneath you, is empty intentionally, chat, because we're going to fill it out together. So what's the first step that we're going to hit today, David?
So the first thing is we need to make an SVG.
Okay.
Which should be pretty straightforward.
Cool.
Then we need to get points on that SVG for Three.js.
Okay.
And then we make the fish move along those points.
Cool.
And then we need to make the points look like how a fish would actually swim. And that's where the magic happens.
Interesting. Make fish swim. I'm just going to put. Awesome. Okay. So sorry for not filling that out. I usually do that beforehand, but now it's all magically there, and we're going to go through those steps. So now we all understand what we're going to be doing. So is there do we want to open up a brand new code pen, or do we want to start from something?
Yeah, a blank pen should work.
All right, cool. Pen.new. My favorite little hack. Well done, CodePen team. Cool.
So what do we need? So we need to make an SVG first. And I know you like using Figma.
I do.
So that should work.
All right, cool. I'm going to pop open Figma. Probably going to do what I always do is like whatever file I have open at the time, I just doodle in there. If I need a quick one-off, because like Figma, it's not like Photoshop where you like hey, I'm gonna just make a new file. Like the files are so like weighty in my opinion. It just I wouldn't spin up a new one for this. I would just doodle over in the margins. Andre, welcome. Good to see you. So yeah, I got my handy pen tool ready, or we can do an ellipse or a shape like this. What do you think we should go for?
We need the pen tool so that we get a path. If we made a circle, it would come in as a circle, and the tool we're going to use doesn't know how to do that. So if we made...
The thing I was thinking is if we do flatten and then start tweaking this, like that's now a path. You know what I mean?
Perfect. So something like that would be great to start with. Something reasonably simple. So that we can get our maths right first before we try and make a more intricate design.
Cool. Doing shortcut O, just making a new one because that was already a little ruined. So I'm doing flatten to change it from that ellipse into something that I can modify as a path.
Cool.
And now
so then
this.
If we copy that and bring it into the HTML.
Okay, cool. I'm curious. So I'm curious if this is going to copy as SVG. I wonder if I need to manipulate a point first to make it not be a circle. No, it's a path. Yeah, as soon as I do flatten, it becomes a path. Interesting.
Cool. Brilliant. So that's the HTML done. So then we just need
a little... It's just that easy, chat.
We'll see. We'll see how we get on. So then just a little sprinkling of CSS to make sure that Three.js plays nice for us.
Okay.
If we do a star selector and margin 0 and padding 0.
Did we get a hype train? Did I? Okay, so that was the, okay, you reached a level 2 hype train emote. Nice. We got 7 subs. Thank you so much, chat. You're all fantastic. Cool, so you got margin 0, padding 0. We're set there.
And then if you set SVG to display none.
Interesting. Cool.
Just so that it's hidden, because we don't actually want to use the SVG for any visuals. We just want to get the info out of it.
Got it. Makes sense. All right, cool. Do we want to put like an ID on it or anything, or it's just going to be the only SVG, so it doesn't matter?
Yes, actually, that would be handy in case we want to have a few of them there. So,
cool.
Yeah, get like an ID of circle.
Works for
me.
Really
creative.
Descriptive, you know, that's the key thing here. Cool.
So now we're into JavaScript land.
Nice. All right, so do we want to import 3, or what's the first step?
Exactly. So it's kind of the usual 3 boilerplate. So if we import 3.
Cool. Is it 3? It's this one, right? Yeah.
3 just with no JS at the end yet.
Cool. Anything else we want to pull in?
So we're going to pull in several pieces from 3, and also I've got there's a script that's been rolling around the internet of how to turn an SVG into a Three.js shape. And I can't find the proper attribution for it.
Got it.
It's just a floating bit of JS. So I'll pop in what we need for that as well.
Sounds good. Chat, if we can find the original author for this JavaScript, let us know.
That would be great. And I do have a link in that to where I found it first, but I don't know if they're the first people to do it.
It's some random code pen. We got to get like Shaw on the case to...
Well, that's mine just so we can share it now. But it's from,
got it. Okay, cool.
From a GitHub.
Got it.
But
I'm just going to pop this open just because I'm curious. Okay, so this is a script that does, as it says, transforms an SVG path into something that Three.js can handle?
Exactly. It turns it into a Three.js shape.
Got it. Okay, I'm going to drop this on chat so y'all have it. That's really neat. Three.js shape, cool. Because like having to make this in Three.js is such a pain in the butt compared to what we can do just over here, right? Like just being able to go boop, 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 boop. And then like that's how my character's going to move around the thing. That's so simple compared to like typing in these coordinates and hoping that it's all good, right? Like, so that's a really handy script to have.
It's brilliant. I was trying to make a racing game is how I discovered it. So I do the outline of a racetrack and then just extrude a track out of it.
Got it.
So that's how I got my little tracks going. Yeah.
That's really cool. Awesome. All right. So sorry to get us off track with our off track. Sorry. Hey.
Something fishy going on.
It's beginning, chat. It's starting. Cool. So we've got our three. We've got our transform SVG path.
And three more things that we need from Three itself.
Cool.
So we need to import orbit controls just because it is convenient.
Yeah. Do we have? I have.
Do you want me to send you the? I can just send you the imports because I know they're not the most fun to do in CodePen.
Yeah, that works for me. So we did not popular public. There we go. Furry horse. So in this one we have orbit controls from. You can just grab this. Orbit controls, yeah, because it's all this SkyPack. So it's basically the same thing. Three.js examples, JSM. Cool. What's the next one we need?
So the next is GLTF loader.
Okay, that's a similar one, right? GLTF. I think it's like that. I think we have that.
Capital GLTF and capital L.
And it's in JSM loaders.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
And then the last one we need is flow. So FLOW.
Don't know this one.
Yeah, this was the one that unlocked it all for me. So
cool.
It's in JSM modifiers and then curve modifier. Exactly.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
So that should be
it's a named import.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. So there's a few different modifiers in there that you can use, but this takes a mesh and flows it along a curve. And you can animate it and update it.
So, okay, it's starting to click now. So chat will see. I have seen the result, but so for chat's purpose, like just to kind of conceptualize this, it's not the same as moving like a solid object along a path. It's more about like if you were to move a snake along a path, you would want every inch of that snake to follow the path, kind of like how the game Snake works. It's not a straight snake that's turning. It's going and it's doing all the things, and it's the tail eventually gets to where the head once was, and it.
Exactly. And like a slinky, if the bits on the outside are going to be further apart and the bits on the inside are going to be closer together, so it does properly bend and
warps
twist
the object a bit. Sounds slithery. Yeah. Exactly right. Cool. Okay, that's a really cool library, or I guess function. I'm not sure
Yeah,
what that.
I don't know what you call them.
I don't know. Module, a modifier that
Module.
I didn't even know about. So awesome. I'm excited for this. So now what? That we've got our packages installed.
Okay, so let's get the basic Three.js setup going. So we'll
Okay.
need a scene.
Like that.
Exactly. And if we want to give that scene a little background color to make it look watery, so if we give it a color, color new 3 color and pass it in 0x 4 2s and 2 9s.
4 2s.
Yeah.
2 9. I'm like, which one's the quantity? Which one's the key I'm hitting? Got it.
How many numbers can I fit in a sentence?
Cool.
And then we'll need a renderer.
All right.
So const renderer, new 3 WebGL renderer. And then if you pass in as props an anti-alias of true, just to get all snazzy.
Cool. Give us some nice smooth edges, right? Or like blurry
Exactly.
edges or whatever.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
jaggedy edges.
Yeah. Cool.
And then we want to set a size on that renderer. So renderer.setSize, and that can be document inner width and document inner height.
Cool.
And then we want to append that to the body. So document.body, append child, and then renderer.dom element.
Like that.
And I think it's lowercase dom. Dom, yeah, exactly.
Cool.
And then we need a camera. There's so much setup on Three.js.
There's always a lot of boilerplate with Three.js for sure.
But it's worth it in the end.
Yes, it's just it can be a lot where like it's tough to do a tutorial where like you do like a hello world, right? Like compared to like HTML. You know what I mean? It's like do an H1, type hello world, you're there. Where this is like we're almost there, just 20 more lines of setup
Exactly.
that you have to do for every project. But makes sense. Cool.
But it's all necessary. So
Yeah.
we need a camera. So const camera, new 3 perspective camera.
Cool.
And then if we pass 75 for focal length.
Is it just like
Yeah,
that?
exactly.
Okay. Cool.
And then we need to do document.inner width divided by document.inner height.
Oh, set
Or we
size.
could make a variable.
The comma's good there, right? Or am I doing divided by? I don't remember.
No, the comma's perfect there because
Okay.
you're setting the width and then the height. But in this example, we're actually looking for the ratio rather than either value on its own.
Cool.
Kind of like when, a TV would be 16:9.
Right.
We're
Or
passing that
4:3,
ratio in.
those kinds of
Exactly.
things. Yeah. Awesome.
And then we need a near and a far. So if we set 0.01 and 200, we'll probably do.
Cool.
Cool.
Just for chat, in case you're wondering about these values, we won't touch on them like in depth right now because this is kind of boilerplatey, but this is just what is the distance that of the most close thing to the camera that it's going to render and the thing furthest in the distance. Like if you remember like old Nintendo 64 games or like old games, everything in the distance would just be like fog or blur. It just wouldn't show until you got close to it. That's like this draw distance essentially. In newer games, we could have that be quite large, but that just determines what are you rendering.
Yeah, and
that's okay.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Cool.
Now that's Three.js optimized as well. If something's further away from the camera, it can just ignore it for that frame.
Right. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. So it's nice and efficient.
Yeah. Cool.
So we want to set a position for our camera. So we're going to try and put everything in the middle because it makes the maths easier. So we're going to push the camera out a little bit.
Cool.
So if we do camera.position.set and do 0, 1, 2. So that's 0 on the X and 1 on the Y. So we'll go up a little bit to look down, and then the Z to pull it back so we can see everything that's going on.
Cool.
And because we've moved it up, it's also not going to quite look at the center anymore. So we need to do camera.lookAt to make sure we're looking back at the center, and do 0, 0, 0. And then add the camera to the scene.
Cool.
We're getting there. So we need a light so we can see what's going on, and then we're going to be able to start adding.
All right. Failed to load. Server responded with a status of 404. Interesting. We'll have to check on that. Those might be wrong. Let me just check the GLTF loader. OBJ loader. Is that called something else?
I sent you those links in the chat. If it's
I'll check those out.
handy.
Orbit, GLTF flow. We'll use these. Just wondering if those imports are killing anything that we might.
We might have Orbit twice there as well.
Yes, we do. Good eye. Cool. All right. Sweet.
Cool. Oh, and so we need a light. So if we do that, or constant light, yeah. New 3 ambient light. And go for, so this we don't need to have an object.
Okay.
So we can just do 0x and all the Fs for white.
0x, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool.
And then the next is the strength of the light. So if we do 1.25, and then I've got 100 in after that, and I'm now realizing I'm not sure what that does.
That's for like the what's 100 is what that one is. It's asking what's 100, and you have to type 100 every time. That's just what that
Gotcha.
is. Yeah.
Otherwise, it returns false.
Yeah, so that's not 100. Yeah, that's what that. I don't know either. That might be like the distance or the spread of it. I'm trying to think because like I'm thinking of Blender. Like I'm much more familiar with like working in Blender. Thinking
Gotcha.
So like you want the color of it, you want the strength essentially. I think is what this is. This might be like the distance, but yeah. Ryan agrees with me. It's 100. It's that's just. Beautiful. That's the spot where you put 100, but we can see. I really should make some fun stuff with 3 again. I'm already so excited for this. Love it, Ed. Yeah, I wanna get better at 3 and Blender and working the 2 together. That may have to be an episode that we do sometime. Is like going back and forth between them and like building a thing in Blender, even if it's simple, and then bringing it into 3 and doing stuff with it. Anyway. They're just fun. They're just fun things.
Yeah. And it's the poses I'm going to get the hang of in Blender. Like, I think there's a lot that could be done if you get the poses set up nicely and bring it into 3. Your animations are simple. You're just going back and forward between 2 things.
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet. But.
Our friend Life in the Discord is phenomenal at that kind of stuff. If you saw the holiday special, he animated so much for that. He is quite good. So. Chat, you gotta hassle him to come on, or haggle with him, see what he wants.
Give him some stuff.
Yeah. Give him stuff, chat. Stop being so stingy. Are we adding the light now, or do we want to move it first?
Nope, that's perfect. It's ambient, so it'll just be.
It's an ambient light. Yeah. So that's gonna just kind of it's not gonna cast any shadows. It's just kind of like it's weird to describe because it's not a light that we. It's not a realistic light like spotlights or point lights or anything like that. It's just like there's light and it's everywhere and it comes from nowhere, but it's on all things and just like how, but it just kind of simulates because bouncing light is expensive, right? So like
exactly
like my room right now, most of it is bounced light from there and it's just bouncing all over, and that's like kind of the ambient light. But if 3 had to do that from like 1 or 2 lights and give like just kind of like a an ambient illumination on things from those. It's like that's what PlayStation 5s can do, not like web browsers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's even trying to figure out like the light side and the dark side. It's got to do all this trigonometry for every pixel. So
Yeah.
we'll give it a little break today.
Yeah. It'd be easier this way. Cool. So we got our ambient light. What
So we
now?
should be into the good stuff now.
Okay.
So we can get to setting up a new GLTF loader. Though I
Okay.
notice we don't have our blue there. The scene should be blue. So I think
Yeah,
we
that's
might
what I
still
was
have some
wondering.
troubles.
That's why I went into the dev tools to check earlier because I'm like, that should be blue. Three ambient light is not a constructor. Okay, let me try this. Nope, still doesn't like it. Can't read property of nulls, reading scene. Okay, so no, that broke it.
Strange.
It did not like that. Let me just check this one. Yeah, that worked. Okay, not to keep going back to that one, but just it's already open. So I'm gonna put a clear at the top so you can. So if we do fix a thing, we will know it. Let's see. Console was cleared. No errors. Huh. We're appending it to the DOM
Strange.
document body, append child, renderer, DOM element. I feel like it should. Let me just.
Is there anything in the HTML? Is there even a canvas there?
There's the SVG.
And
There's
there's
the
the
scripts and there's the canvas.
canvas.
Yeah. So you've got a canvas. Is it getting pushed down? Nope. It's at the top. It's 0, 0. Did we set a size on it? Renderer set size. Do we need to set any CSS to see how big the canvas is?
I
I don't think so, but
wouldn't have thought so. No, it can't hurt.
no, it's just black. It should be blue. 100 view width. I don't think we.
Unless we're still having an issue with the scene, because it would go black. Yeah, but a canvas is black by default.
Let me try this.
Well, that would still, if taking out the color, would
Yeah,
still make it
it'll still be
black.
black. Just trying to.
And the way I have my scene set up is slightly different. I was rolling with what you have because I hadn't seen it before and it looks slick. But we could also not pass the color as a set of parameters and remove that object altogether.
Okay.
And instead, on the next line, do scene.background.
Ah, okay, cool.
That
Yeah,
might be
that's the
what's.
thing I wasn't sure about. See that background and then do it?
And then equals rather than passing
Got
anything
it. It's not a
through.
function. There would have to be like a set
Yeah.
or something. Got it. So 0x. Just
But
putting
we
something
need
in.
to do new 3.color and then pop that inside.
And then just as a string or?
So no string and 0x. We should be good. Oh, and there's a G missing from background. Just at the
You are
start of the
right.
line there.
Thank you for that.
And it still hasn't come through.
See, background typo. Thank you, Ed. Background, new 3 color. We're getting nothing in the console. Renderer. So I'm gonna get rid of this bit because I think you're right in that we shouldn't need that. So the fact that it's not
Yeah.
like the color thing might be a red herring.
Yeah, and it is a fish-related stream, so.
Hey, Aaron, good to see you. Welcome. We're just debugging this getting added in. So camera, you got the camera, document body, pen child renderer. Do we need to call render or something? Like I'm very fuzzy without looking at
I
like an
think
example.
I have it.
Okay.
I've led you astray.
All
So
good.
for all of our inner widths and heights, I said document, but it should be window.
Got it. Okay. So as I was typing it, I'm like, huh, it's not helping me out, but I didn't say anything. Window dot inner. See there, it helps me, but it
That
wasn't
looks
helping me
right.
with document. See, it disappeared. I was like, that's weird. It usually helps me out here. Got it.
Yeah.
Inner width, comma. Nice.
And
And
then
window.
again in the camera. Yeah.
Cool. So that makes sense as to why it was setting a size. It was setting it to undefined, right? Or
Exactly.
whatever. So now this might be the borked part. 0x, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Huh. Console is
Gosh.
cleared. Now we need to figure out the background part because this is better. This is doing better.
Yeah.
Scene add camera, scene window, inner width, inner height. That's that ratio. New 3 scene. What if we just to test it real quick? Mesh or no geometry. Like just want to add a cube. You know what I mean
Sure.
with like a basic material just to see it like is it the background that we're debugging or is it that nothing's showing up is kind of what I'm trying to figure out here.
Yeah.
New 3 dot is it cube? Is that what it is? Docs.
Do we have a renderer.render anywhere?
That's it. No, we do not. That's what I was wondering if.
That's it. Sorry, because I have an animate function and I was like,
All
that's coming
good.
up later. So that could be causing trouble too. So on the renderer.render, we need to pass the scene and the camera.
Cool. Okay. There we go. Got it. Nice. Oh, Ed, nice. Thank you so much. Exactly what David said. Nice. Well done. All right,
Excellent.
we are in business. What should we change this to now that we have an actual color working?
So let me see if I can say this to you any nicer than I did last time. So 222299.
Got it.
Cool. So we do want to set up a little animate function
All right.
just so that we can see what's happening. So if we do const animate and make that a function, so a little arrow function, nice. And then straight away we want to do a request animation frame and pass animation into that, or animate into that.
Cool.
And bring our renderer.render, copy it up in there as well. And then we can just run animate and we should be in business.
Cool.
Cool.
No change, but that's expected.
Yep. So now that we've got the shell set up,
Yeah, we're
let's
good.
get on to the fun.
Sounds good.
So we want to load our fish. So if we do const loader equals new GLTF loader.
Somewhere towards the top, right?
So I actually have it just after the animate function.
Oh, cool. That works. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Loader, like that.
Const loader, yeah, equals new GLTF loader. Perfect. And then we need to do loader.load. And I'm going to give you a string in the chat there just to get our fish.
Cool. Now, is this coming from?
So we don't want to pass it in that way. Sorry, I also have the attribution there.
Cool.
So the reason I'm sending you that and not saying, let's jump off to Poly and get our fish from there is because when the models come from Poly, you never know what direction they're facing.
Yep. Or
And
how
the
big they
way,
are, like the scale. Like there's a lot of stuff that kind of just like it becomes unknown. And if you try to like just toss three different poly objects into a scene, they probably won't play nice together right off the bat, right?
exactly. And the other thing is the flow tool that we have, the module, ignores any changes you do. So even if you got the fish in and it was huge and it was the wrong way and you got it down in the right shape and you pass it to the flow, it ignores the mesh changes and just takes the original geometry.
Really? And you that's funny. I would
There
think
are
you'd be able
ways,
to like because the loader takes a oops, I put this in the wrong spot. The loader takes a callback next, right? You would
yes,
think that you'd be able to change it in that.
and you can, but
It ignores your changes. That's weird. Okay.
it is a
Good to
long
know.
path to try and get it to do what you want. So it's easier to go into Blender and here's one I made earlier and
Cool.
bring that one along. um, so yeah, we want to pass a function with the GLTF as a parameter as the next. Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
And in there, so first of all, outside of the loader, we want to make a variable called fish so that we can refer to it again later in the animate function. So just
We'll
let
let
fish. And then inside we say fish equals gltf.scene. And then just so we can see something, we can say scene.add fish.
There we go.
Cool.
Got a fish. Now it is upside down. Is that right?
So this is another part of Flow. The way it animates, it's something to do with the Y directions.
Okay.
So different 3D tools have different Y ups, and some of them have Z up and
Yeah.
these
No one
different
ever
things.
agreed on a standard. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Everyone agrees that X goes on the side, but
I think even that's not true.
oh my gosh.
Freya Homer
Alan?
or
Or
Homer, I'm not sure
Homer.
how
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
pronounce her name. She put out a image in the last week or two on Twitter of all the different coordinates, and there's
Wow.
nothing that is consistent. So this will work for Flow, even if it looks strange
Cool.
for the rest of the thing.
Good to know.
Um, so we have our fish. So we could even just comment out the scene.add fish so we don't have to see our sad fish the whole time. And now we
Just yeah,
can grab
it is kind of sad because you're like, oh, I have to flush this now. Um,
exactly.
Amit, welcome, and Aaron, I love the 5222 double aught 100 It's a good color. It's a solid color value. Cool.
Um, so let's grab the SVG.
All right.
So
Oh,
if we
right
make,
from up here.
yeah, so we have the ID of circle. So we can just say const SVG equals document get element by ID. I'm paranoid now. I'm like, is it windowed?
Does
No.
document even exist? Did I make
Cool.
that up? Is SVG inside this callback or is it somewhere else?
So yeah, keep it inside the callback.
Okay, cool.
And we are going to, so we now have a reference to the SVG and we want to use that function we brought in, the magic function that exists on the internet, and get points on that SVG.
Cool.
And things get really messy really quickly. So we're going to make a function called get centered SVG points
Okay.
outside of, yeah, perfect. And we're going to pass to that the SVG and a scale so that if our SVG is huge, we can scale it down. If it's
Cool.
small, we can scale it up.
All right.
Um, so in that, we are going to have a const of viewbox because we want to get the dimensions of the SVG. So that's svg.get attribute viewbox.
Like
With a
that.
capital B,
Yep.
exactly. And then dot split and put a space in there.
Like that.
Perfect.
Cool.
And then we're going to have, so we want to get the width and height so that we can adjust that scale.
Got it.
So
Okay.
we can make a const of width, which would be parse float, just to be double sure.
That.
And then viewbox. And then exactly, read my mind. And then the same for height.
Guessing ahead, but usually wrong. Cool. That's clever. I like that.
And the reason I'm using viewbox there rather than, I know Figma exports a width and height,
Not
but
everything
not
does though, yeah.
exactly. But viewbox is kind of the most reliable parameter that's going to be on an SVG.
I want to ban and outlaw all SVG creation tools that strip the view box and give you width and height. That is the worst crime that I can think of.
Exactly.
That
It's
should be a
just
thing.
wrong.
Yeah. Cool.
So now we want to make a const of path. And this is going to be the path in the SVG.
Okay.
So it equals svg.querySelector path. And we don't want the full path itself. We want to do .get attribute D.
Cool.
So now we're getting that string. So the tool we're using doesn't actually manipulate the SVG or do anything smart SVG-ish. It's just really good at taking SVG path info and turning it into Three.js shapes.
Got it. Okay. And Ed asks, or I guess says, thought viewbox is mandatory. I could be wrong. I'm actually curious. I feel like I've definitely seen some without it. Yeah, you don't have to have it. That crime right there is an SVG without a viewbox, my friend. I mean, like, it should be mandatory with my new law. If you vote me into power, it would be mandatory. But right now, no. People are doing horrible things and they're shipping SVGs without view boxes. So just when you go to vote next, remember that horrible sad SVG without a view box. But good question though, because yeah, it shouldn't be there. It's surprising. Cool. So
no. So next we're going to have another const. There's an awful lot of variables to set up here.
All good.
And we're going to call this one shape. And this is where we're going to actually get a Three.js shape back. So we just need to say transform SVG path, which is the variable we put in, or the function we put in above, and pass that path.
Okay. Not so the height or anything?
Nope.
Cool.
That is going to come when, so we're going to get all the points of the SVG at the wrong size, just whatever size it comes in.
Cool.
And then we're going to move those points in Three.js because it's easier to work with Three.js vectors than trying to update anything in the path.
Cool. Okay. So we're getting back what exactly? A bunch of coordinates? Is that essentially what we're getting? Kind of curious.
Yes. So if you console log it, yeah, so there are shapes in Three.js and you can use them to extrude. You could do like a heart shaped SVG and extrude it out, and then you've got a heart.
Let's see. Cool.
And it is more of a vector object, as in cubic Bezier curves and all of that sort of thing.
That's great.
So it's still as it was in Figma.
That's really, really handy. This is exciting. I did not know you could do this. So it's great.
Yeah. And you can do like 3D vectors and things Freya Homer again. She's
She's
unbelievable at this.
incredible. She's incredible. Yeah. Chad, if you don't know, let's see, Freya. If you don't know Freya,
And the beauty of Bezier curves, I think, is the video. That's just
I know we've had it
ridiculous.
In our chat, but if you haven't watched this, this is what you're doing after the stream. After the stream, chat. Not now, chat. Copy a link address. That should work. But yeah, phenomenal video. I think it won like awards and stuff. It's just really great.
Yeah, like how you can take such dry material and make it.
I do love Beziers though. They're phenomenal. The pen tool's always been like one of my favorites for like decades now.
They're magic.
Yeah, I never understood like the science underneath them. They're just really cool. We can put you on mute. No, Aaron. No, Aaron. Unmute me, Aaron. Cool. All right, so we can I can hide that SVG again now that we know that you can ship a viewbox, or you can ship a viewboxless SVG. Now what?
And I realize there's very little to see on the screen as we're doing all this, but we're gonna get there.
Yeah, okay.
So next we want to get those points. So another variable called points.
Cool. Oh,
after shape. Sorry, after shape. Yeah.
All good.
Const points. Yeah. Perfect.
Cool.
So then we're going to say shape.getPoints. So there's a few more variables that I've left out from the start just to introduce them as we need them. So we weren't setting too many. So back where we've declared fish, we're also going to declare a point count.
Just in here?
Yeah. And we're going to set that to 100.
Okay, cool. I'll make it a new line just to make it a little clearer.
So what this is going to act as is kind of our resolution.
Oh, okay. So this is the point count then. We figured it out. That's what that was from before.
That could be. I might have missed that.
That's what it is. Bad call.
For a second there, I was like, really?
Yeah, it's 100. No, we're good. Cool. Okay, so that's the number of points that we're pulling out of this path. So like so in other words, like if we had a complex path, I guess I can just undo my deletion. Yeah, there we go. So if this was like really complex, we could simplify this down to like 10 points, and it will have like a low fidelity or a lo-fi, if you will, David.
Exactly.
Or high fidelity with like 100 points and so on. Is that?
Or even if it's the circle, if you imagine you grab 4 points from the circle, you're just going to get a square back.
Oh, so it's not points of a Bezier curve. It's actual points, and we're making a polygon now.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, so they're line segments or like points of a polygon path. Got it.
Exactly. It's taking the length of your path and dividing it by that. And at each of those points, that's a terrible word to use when you're trying to describe points, but at each of those intersections, it's pulling the point in space at that time.
Cool. Okay, good to know. All right, cool.
So point back count. Where we were, we want to set point count in there. And then we want to map those points. And this is where we're going to remap the points from being, you know, the way the viewbox goes 0, 0 to whatever you've set it at. As we've pulled in the path now, it will be the same. So our center point, everything will go to the right and towards the camera, but we want to shift it back over.
Okay.
So we're going to append after get points. We're going to say .map. And we're going to get a point and bring that as a parameter into the function. Yeah. And then there's another little bit to set up in here. So we need a variable called v. So let v equal new 3.vector3. So here we're going to center it. So we're going to pass through point.x. So the x position of the point.
Cool.
And we're going to say minus width divided by 2.
Where's the width coming from? Ah, okay. So
So
this is
width
the
is from
width of the view box that we got from the SVG. We're getting the points
exactly.
from it, and now we are basically like essentially taking this random size that I have here. I don't know if you in chat can see it well. If that doesn't help, but this is 1,235. I just drew a random circle, right? But basically, are we taking it down to like a 1 by 1 and making it fit, like map down to that?
Not quite. More so,
Okay.
if see where the top left corner is there of that bounding box.
Right.
We're moving the center of that bounding box to that corner.
Moving the center of that bounding box to that corner. So like if
so
this...
we're moving the X position. So we're taking the width.
Okay.
And we're shifting it over half the width.
Okay. I think I might get it as we see it, because right now I'm trying to, or as the math comes in. So point X. So this might be like, if it's this very far right, the X would be 1,235 minus the width, which is 1,235 divided by 2. Oh, so we're moving this here.
Exactly.
And okay, but then if it's 0, point X, so 0 minus, okay, so it's essentially what, oh, here it is. So it's not shrinking it, it's instead taking its view box. So like if this is the view box, and thank you for bearing with me in my like trying to figure this out in Figma thing.
All good.
If that's kind of how it is, it's centering the circle or whatever the shape is, so that its center is the origin.
Exactly, because in Three.js with the origin, we want it to go towards the minus as well as the plus, whereas in SVG everything's a plus.
Right.
So
it's
we're
going to be like this. It's going to center it on. So the center and the origin are the same. Cool. That makes complete sense. So that'll dip into the negatives. Awesome. Chat, do you have any questions on that? Is that clear to y'all? And James, great to see you. Welcome. Good afternoon. Great to see some familiar faces here. All right, cool. So thank you for clearing that up. We got let V. Do we do another one?
So we need to do Y. So that's the X position.
Cool.
And then, so in where we're setting the vector 3, we've only set the X position so far.
Ah, my fault. Okay, hold on.
All good.
Cool. I was going to do more things because I forgot how vector 3s work. You need 3.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So for Y, we're going to do 0 because we don't want to go up or down.
Got it. Yeah. I forgot which one that was. Is this Y up or down, or is it left and right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So now it's point Y.
Exactly.
Minus the height?
Minus height divided by 2.
Cool.
So now our shape is going to be centered, but it might be too big and it might be too small.
Got it.
So, yeah, very nice. So now we're going to scale it.
Okay, so just multiply it by the scale?
Yes, exactly. So V equals V dot multiply scalar scale.
What's multiply scalar?
So that is, it takes the X, Y, and Z positions.
Okay.
And multiplies them by whatever number you pass in. So if X was 1 and you multiply by 2, X will turn into 2.
Got it. So it's built for exactly what we're doing.
Exactly.
Cool. All right, because I for some reason I forgot that V was a vector 3. I thought this was like an integer, and I'm like, integers have this on their prototype? What is this? Okay, got it. It's a 3 thing. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you
and
for explaining
then
that.
all good. So now we return V. So in that map, it's now sending all those points back to points. So now we have a lovely point system. So we want to return points.
Cool. Return points. Great.
And then we can jump back up to our function. And
this one, the callback, right? In here?
Yes. So where you've got that line, let's say const original points equals everything you got there. And then we're going to set up another function, and then we're going to have things to see.
Cool.
And this one should be much easier. So we're going to make a function called show line from points.
I'm just going to bring the fish back so the chat has something sad to see, maybe. I don't know. We'll bring it back, chat. Don't worry. It's fun. David's original idea for the title of this was bringing a fish back to life with Three.js. And I'm like, people are going to wonder, like, is it necromancy or like what is happening on this?
What happened to the fish before the stream?
Yeah, what did Alex do to that fish? So we just went with making a fish swim. But yeah, it's a good title. Cool. So we're making another function?
Yeah. So it's going to be called show line from points. And we're going to pass points and a color.
Go into that big fish bowl in the sky. Burn the witch.
So we want to set up a new line. So if we do const line.
Sorry, I just understood what old Segotia was saying. I didn't know what you were referring to. I apologize. Like Ireland into gaff. What did we do in Ireland? Like, oh right, David's here, and I don't know what the gaff is. I assume in the house, maybe.
The gaff is your house, man. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Sorry, old Segotia, for ignoring that. I've been trying to figure it out. I'm like, huh.
I haven't been keeping an eye on the chat at all.
All good. Welcome in, old Segotia. Cool. So sorry about that. It just clicked. I'm like, oh right, Irish. Got it. Const line.
So const line is a new 3.line loop.
Line loop. Cool.
And to that, we are going to pass a new 3.buffer geometry. Dots and roundy fellas.
Cool.
Exactly. And then dot set from points.
Cool.
And then we're going to do comma and new 3.line basic material. And pass a object with a color of color.
Try to just do that, right?
Color. Snazzy.
Love that.
And then we need to just do one more little bit of after, so we say line.geometry.center after, cool. And then...
Oh, is it?
And parenthesis.
Okay, cool. Wasn't sure if it was a function or a property.
Yeah, so you can use that on any geometry and it will pull it to the center.
Nice.
And then just scene.add line. And back up to our function, we can now use this. And here on the next line, do, perfect, scene. That's perfect. And just pass original points and then a color of your choice.
Can I do, I forget, can you do named CSS colors? No, I don't think so.
Maybe not the way we're passing it.
Random number assortment. Let's see what we get.
So this is probably working actually.
Okay.
But it's the scale is
got it.
huge.
Okay. So 0.2.
So I have gone as far as like 0.025 when I had something that was 100 units wide. So
Got it.
there we're seeing the edges of it now. So you might even need to go a little bit more again. Yeah.
Nice. That's pretty good.
So there is our
That's
circle.
pretty good. And
A lot
yeah,
of work.
Ryan's asking in chat, did he say roundy fellas? I think he did. And Cassie, our friend Cassie Evans likes to say curly boys, pointy boys, and round boys, I think. So the curly boys, I think, are the what is
The
it
curly
actually?
fellas.
Yeah, yeah. So it's fellas and boys. That's the difference between the Irish and the British vernacular, right? That's what it is.
Exactly.
It's the boys and the fellas. Got it. Okay.
So we have our SVG path coming in now, and we have it. We have our points. Everything's going really nicely.
Yeah.
We now need to let our fish go along that curve.
Got it. Super quick. Would you mind if I just toy with this and just see the point thing in action?
Sure, yeah.
That
You
still
might
looks
need.
pretty good.
So the line loop as well is going to try and account for it a little bit. So you need to go quite low.
It's doing some work for us. Got it.
Seeing that actually, maybe it's 1 point per. Oh no, there's the 4. Yeah.
Got it. Cool. Sorry, just wanted to see that like in action. That's a real nice smooth one. Fish is upside down. Did it die already? Yeah, unfortunately, it starts out dead. You have to add water, and then you'll bring it back. That's the thing.
So it's just about to come back to life.
Yes, and it's upside down intentionally. Can you explain that again?
I can explain it as well as I know. So the flow module that we're using seems to want the object to be centered and aligned on the x-axis, but upside down.
Just what it wants. You got to make it happy. Just what it wants. Starts out dead.
And we're going to use that now.
Cool.
So we need a curve to pass to it. So if we go back up to just after the show line from points function.
Here. Cool.
Yeah. So if we make a const called fish curve, could have just called that curve, but anyway. And we're going to say new 3 catmull rom curve 3. It's a lot. So CAT MULL, then capital or OM, lowercase OM. So
capital what?
So capital or R.
Thank you. Okay, I'll make like. Sorry, I wasn't sure if it was or. Got it. R. Was it?
OM.
Was not taking a shot at you. I hope you know. I just.
There's been a lot of representing Ireland so far in this. I like it.
I love it. Yeah.
And there's more to come as well, actually. So after ROM, we need curve and then the number 3.
All right.
And then we're going to pass that fish points. Or sorry, original points. We haven't gotten to fish points yet.
Cool.
And just true to, so it's going to make us a curve, and true will make sure that the endpoint and the start point join up together.
Okay, cool.
And to make it follow those points, we're going to make a little function called follow points and pass fish curve to it.
Cool.
So cool, we're getting that curve. So flow, which we set above as a global function.
Capital.
We have it there near where we've got our different settings going on.
Yeah, I just wanted to see, is it capital? Cool. Flow?
Sorry, so not that flow. I think, did we already set up oh no, where we set up fish, we need to set up flow.
Yeah, we have not set up a flow yet. So let fish
and
like that, or in here?
Exactly where you were before. Sorry,
okay,
so
cool.
Where fish is, yeah. So just let flow.
Cool.
So in follow points, Then we're going to have flow equals new flow. And now we're going to pass it fish. So
Fish curve or fish?
Fish. So this is telling the flow module, this is the model that we want to play with.
Okay, cool.
And then on the next line, we're going to say flow.update curve.
Update curve?
Yep.
Cool.
And we're going to pass it 0, which tells us how far along the curve we want to go.
Okay.
And then we're going to pass it fish curve to tell us which curve we want to go along.
Cool.
And then we're going to actually see things happening now. This is the line where it all happens. We're going to say yes, and to pass fish curve to it. And then on the next line, we just say scene.add, in follow points.
Got it.
Scene.add flow.object3D with a capital D at the end. And that should give us a fish on a line. Hey.
Nice. Chat, check it out.
Which brings us...
is really cool. I can even tell it's like, or at least from here, it seems like it's curving.
Exactly. So if we go to our animate function, it's now really easy to get this to zip around that circle.
Nice. Okay, cool. Flow update. So I'm guessing it's update curve in the animate function. Where is animate? Where did we put that? Oh, here it is. Is it basically that kind of thing, but we just update that value?
So you can do it that way, but it's also got a little helper function that just makes it easier.
Oh,
so if we say flow.moveAlong curve, and then we just tell it by how much we want it to move along. So if you put in like 0.001, because it tends to go quite quick. And we should...
It doesn't like that. Are we calling flow before we call anything else? Is that what's happening? And it doesn't have this function?
So I have it after the request animation frame, but yeah, try it there. There we go.
There it is. Check it out, chat. Whoa, it had like a warp thing there by that like end dot.
It does have a little bit of a wriggle at that point.
That's so cool though. And it's definitely curving around it. That's really neat.
Yeah.
I want to do something if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
0.07. I want it to like, I want to see if we can, check it out. Just to see the bend more, right? Because like, I don't think you appreciate the bend if the path is very big.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool.
And even the applications of this can be really interesting you could do flow.update curve and not change the value. But imagine you had a model that was like grass. So you could like bend the grass according to different things.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts you can start to do.
That warp by like the at the reset is what I'm assuming, right? Like that's where like the path loops in on itself is interesting.
It's definitely not perfect.
Yeah, that's still really neat. And this is a very simple. Too big. 0.8. It's zipping though. It is going along. This is a very simple kind of path that we've constructed. We could definitely get something a bit more fun a bit later, but yeah, this is great.
Yeah, but it's still it's warping to exactly that shape, which fish don't do. We want to get that little wriggle going in.
Oh, got it. Yeah, that's a good point.
So we're going to take the points that we have and just move them around the line.
Like zigzag. So if the line's here, we're going to go bang, bang, boom, bang, bang, boom, like that.
Exactly.
Cool.
Exactly.
And we're going to make those noises while we do it, right? The whole chat's going to say bing, bang, boom, bing, bang, boom. Otherwise,
it doesn't work. Otherwise,
we stop the stream. Otherwise, we turn it off. Cool. And welcome in, Celibate. Nice to have you. Glad you are liking it. And Ryan, Ryan made it happen. So chat, we are continuing. Thank you, Mr. Trimble. I really appreciate you. Cool. So and Wafi, can always count on you. Cool.
Nice.
All right. So yeah, this is really fun. How do we go about doing that? And how did I make it?
So, oh,
There we go. Cool.
there we go. So we have almost every, we need one more function to get this all to work. And
Okay.
this one is the intense one. This gets maxy.
Okay.
So we're going to call it get fish points from points.
All right. Sounds good. Aaron, well played. Aaron, well played. We have a word band feature, and Aaron just used it for two of our words that we just to say. He didn't do bang. All right, so I can still say that. Thank you, Aaron. Cool. All right, so we're calling it. I apologize. We are calling it something points.
Get fish points from points. So we've got some points, but we want to make them fishy. So get fish points from points. Cool. And we're gonna just pass in some points.
Cool.
And we might just immediately, I'm trying to think of how we can do this so we can see progress along the way. So if we make a const of points and make it equal to points and just return points straight away. Sorry, fish points, make a const of fish points. And then return points.
Return points
or fish points? Fish points. Yeah, sorry.
All good. Cool.
And then up in our closure with the model, we will make a new const of, and we might want to put it above where we have fish curve. Beautiful. So if we say const fish points equals get fish points from points, and then pass in original points.
Cool.
And then we might do a new show line from points with fish points in it. So if you see just after we declared original points, we have
show line from points. Got it.
Just so that we can see these two different lines, because it's pretty abstract and can be hard to understand when things have gone wrong or gone right. So I always like to have something where we can see what we're doing.
Sounds good. FF0000. I'm going to do the other one in red so we can see. So there's green, there's red. Cool. So right now it's getting drawn on top of the original is why.
Exactly.
And because we're just returning it and nothing has changed, so we're not doing the zing, zang, zoom back and forth bit, right?
Exactly.
Cool. All right.
So what we need to do first is, so we need to make a curve. So we're going to do const curve equals new 3 dot catmull rom curve 3 again. We might want to copy and paste it from above. We got it.
I think we're
and
good.
A little number 3 after curve. Yeah.
Cool.
And we're going to pass points into that.
Points or fish points?
Points. We're going to update fish points.
Cool.
So that gives us exactly the circle we had, but it is now a curve instead of a set of points, so that we can sample points along that curve.
Got it. Do we guess it's true or no?
Not for this one, because we're not going to pass this to the flow.
Okay.
So, I mean, we could if we want, but
just curious.
It won't make any difference at the moment.
Cool.
So then we need a for loop. And just let I equals 0. I is less than point count. So this is another thing where we're getting our fidelity through.
Point
So point
count?
count was one word, so capital C. Yeah,
Ah, got it. Okay. The 100 thing. Cool.
exactly. And then I plus plus,
Cool.
and then some curly fellas. Lovely. Um, so we now want to sample along that curve again.
Okay.
And it feels like a bit of repetition, but this is the only way I've been able to figure it out. So we want to know, with all our 100 points, what percent of the way along the curve are we?
Okay.
And typically the variable t is used for this.
Okay.
So we'll say const t is equal to I divided by point count.
Got it.
So if I is 50 and point count's 100, it'll give us 0.5 because we're halfway through.
Cool.
So then we need an angle because we're going to do some messing with sine and pi and things like that.
Got it.
I know you're a huge fan of those.
I struggle, but yeah. It's fun when we can use them and it works. That's what I enjoy.
And this is probably, these next two lines are the most complicated maths we're going to do.
Cool.
And I've made a little graph toy if we want to see how it looks after if we're getting lost on the way.
All right.
But let's give it a try. So we're going to start with a round fella and say I divided by, and then another round fella, and point count divided by frequency. And then outside of both of those, we're going to do modulus 1, so a percent sign and 1.
Okay.
And essentially what this does is takes our frequency. Oh, we need to declare frequency as well. That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I was wondering where it's coming from. Cool.
So we could set that, if we set it to 10, it means we're going to, when we go back and forth, we're going to go back and forth 10 times along the line. If we set frequency to 5, we'll go back and forth 5 times.
Got it. Okay.
So it gives us a little artistic control there.
Got it. So this is like the wavelength almost? No, I guess it's just the frequency. Yeah, it's the frequency of a wave, right? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll also, with frequency, need an amplitude. So if we set another, yeah, exactly. And that will be how far away from the original line we wobble in and out.
Cool. All right. So
you might set that to, what have I got up here? Like 0.04 is what I've got, the amplitude.
Right. VJ, good to see you. Glad you were able to make it. And you said you weren't sure if you could. All right. We got frequency, amplitude. Looking good.
And so to work out then the amount of displacement, so this is going to give us a value to multiply things by. Oh, what's coming there?
I don't know. Doesn't like something. Gonna refresh real quick. Just gonna go over here. There we go. Select all. Going to paste in exactly what we had. Is that working?
Yeah, because it should still be.
Cool. It's working.
Yeah, we should be
I think
fine.
that CodePen just crashed. Oh, good.
Lovely, lovely. So we just set our angle, and now we want our displacement, the distance that we're going to move away from the original line.
Cool.
And how we're going to do that is based on sine and pi. So that's going to be equal to math.sine And in there, we're going to pass math.pi multiplied by 2. So that gets us a full circle multiplied by the angle we just created.
Okay.
So that's going to give us numbers between -1 and 1, constantly going back and forward 10 times, because that's our frequency. And then we're going to multiply that by the amplitude. So now we know by how much we're going to go left and right.
Cool. All
The
right.
next part, yeah, and this is super heavy, but we're halfway through this function. So now we know how much we want to move, but next we need to know what direction we're going to move.
Okay.
So, you know, a tangent along a line is the direction you're facing as you're turning. Like if you kept on going straight while you're turning, that's the tangent.
Okay.
The normal then is if you stuck your arm out the window, that's like if it was a moving car, forwards is the tangent and out the window is the normal.
Got it. Okay. That's making sense now, because I know normals from Blender and 3D work, but did not. I know it as like the direction the polygon's facing, but that thing of the tangent and the normal. Cool. I'm understanding that. I'm putting those together.
Because we want to go like left and right of the line. And if we had the tangent, we'd be going back and forward and the fish would have a really bad time. So we want to go along the normal. So to do that, we want to get the point. So left point, because we're going to make some changes to it later. Sorry. So let point. Yeah.
My fault.
Equals curve.getPoint.
Like that.
And we're going to get that point exactly, yeah. And we're going to get that point at t. So that's the percentage of the way along. So this will give us that exact position. And then we want a new const.
Okay, just that, just the t.
Yeah,
and then...
so that's the point. So then const tangent. So now we're going to get that forward-facing direction, and that will be curve.getTangent, and we're going to pass that t as well.
Okay.
And now we're going to get the normal based on that tangent. So we're going to say const normal equals tangent.clone, because we don't want to actually move the point. We just want to get a copy of it to get our normal. And we're going to say dot cross.
After clone?
Yeah, exactly. And in there, so this is going to rotate the angle. And we want to rotate it along the y-axis to get our arm out the window instead of facing the front of the car.
Got it. Okay. Okay, so we're finding the tangent, and then we're changing it 90 degrees, essentially, to go to the normal?
Exactly.
Cool.
So we're going to pass that new 3.vector3 and 0, because so we want to turn on the y-axis. So we're going to say 0, 1, 0.
Oh, cool.
So now we have the normal, and that's all the math's done. So we've almost got a swimming fish. We're like 3 or 4 lines away.
We might be 1 or 2 crashed code pens away.
Oh no.
Closing these out. Let's see. Just gonna keep hopping into new ones.
Absolutely.
Oops.
Yeah, it does get a little stuck when it is stuck.
There we go.
So
all right. So like it keeps yelling at me for this, and I don't know why this is complaining, because it seems to be working. Cannot read properties of undefined reading move along curve. Is it because flow isn't defined to start with? So what about like if flow? No, still doesn't like it.
That should work.
Yep, there we go. That's better. Cool.
Beautiful.
All right, easy enough there. Closing out that pen. All right, we're in good shape. Here we go. Just checking chat real quick. Depends on
Sure.
what kind of fish food you sprinkle in may affect the amplitude. Nice. Time for some good puns. Yeah, absolutely. Some say the best pun masters come from the School of Puns. I studied at the University of Pennsylvania. Nice, Ryan. Cat, mole, and a fish. Is this a catfish? Nice. Complex transformations make you feel like a fish out of water. This gives me serious. I just joined late to class. Let me write down whatever I can energy. JK Alex's learning face is so intriguing. Yeah, I don't have a good learning face. I'm always like, yeah, I don't know. But appreciate you, VJ. Appreciate you. Good to have you here. All right.
So if we want to, where were we? We were in get fish points from points.
Get fish points from points. Also, my eye has been like stinging this entire time. I have no idea why. So I hope that's part of why my face is so interesting right now. But yeah, tough to say. Cool. So we're here. We just did the tangent clone cross new vector 3.
Perfect. So next we want to say point equals point dot add. And then in there, we're going to pass normal dot multiply scalar. And we're going to pass in that displacement that we made earlier.
Cool.
So this is going to get that point and our normal, our arm out the window with the normal, and it's going to say move along that normal, like add that vector to the point and multiply it by the displacement, so a number between -1 and 1.
Okay.
And then we say, if we jump back up to the top of this function where we say fish points equals points, let's now make that an array.
Okay.
And then pass points to that array.
Push. Like that.
Exactly.
Cool.
There we go.
Chat, check it out. Oh, it's so good. Where is this the scale? Where's the scale bit that we?
So the scale, so the frequency and the amplitude we could pull out.
Yeah, I guess we could do that from the fish points thing. So amplitude, if we go like 9, maybe. B1 Mine, good to see you. That's so cool. So it's gonna be ridiculous, but it's really neat. Just satisfying to look at.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
And now we're pretty much there. It is very, very easy to get our fish swimming then.
Love it. Let's do it.
We have all the ingredients we need. So if we go back up to where we set fish curve,
Fish.
in the, just in that loader function, a little lower down.
Here we go.
And, and so we're setting that from original points. So now just set that from fish points.
No way. It's so warpy. It's so good. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
It definitely does what it's told.
Yes. I will follow this even if it
ridiculous.
requires me breaking my skeletal structure to do so. Oh my gosh, that's so great. Let's see if wait, where get fish points. Get fish points from points. Here we go. Amplitude. Let's just go absurd first and then we'll go a bit less absurd. Nice.
If you want to see something crazy, if you hit 1 instead of 0.09, just do 1 and it'll shoot around crazy ways.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like it's doing some sort of workout.
Yeah, right? That's really fun. Let's go to like 0.02.
And
there you go.
There you go. And the frequency as well. If you have a lower frequency, you tend to be able to get larger sweeps, so you can have a higher amplitude.
Got it. That makes sense. Fine tuning these details.
Exactly. So there's a bit of
Oh
control and art
yeah.
direction to it.
That's really cool. And then can we, let's see, we don't need the fish curve or, right? Like that's, nope, we do need the fish curve. What's the
Yeah.
thing? Where are
So
we
we can,
drawing the,
it's those two functions. The one the cursor's on there,
yeah?
show line from points. So that's
Got it.
drawing the
That's what it
first one.
is.
And we've got another
Syntax.
one below. Yeah.
Hey, just curious if we can, nice. That looks so good.
So it took an awful lot of work to get there. But now, if you wanted to, you could jump back to Figma and
Yeah.
make any shape you want and change the ID and see what happens.
Yeah, let's give it a shot. So I don't know, chat, what are you thinking? If we go,
And it can cross over as well,
right.
especially because when we've gotten rid of the lines, it just looks like a fish having a nice day.
Fish having a nice day. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. It's like that should feel kind of not organic, but like a bit more random than just like a circle, you know?
And what's great is when there's some sharper corners, because of the flow that we've got going on, it kind of looks like the fish has chosen to change direction sometimes.
Got it.
So you can get really interesting effects.
Not really a zigzag, but it's a, yeah, or dude, scribble. Cool. So instead of circle, we're going with scribble. And that should be it, right? That should be all we need to change.
Yeah, we might need to finesse some bits,
That's
but
fine. We're
because it's a
all about
much
finesse here.
longer
Yeah,
because it's a
the
much longer
amplitude and
SVG.
everything.
Exactly.
That's really fun though.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we might want to make it a little bit bigger. Is this the scale bit here?
exactly. That's the scale of your SVG. So that's why I made those functions to make it
Yeah, that's
easy to
nice.
see the resultant line. So if you were to uncomment the line under fish points, you'd be able to see exactly how the SVG is
Uh,
looking now.
oh, shoo.
Hey!
Zips in. This one. Yeah, cool. Those are helpful.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so we're a bit big. All right, we're getting cool. And then the red in this isn't doing much, but that's because it's a very different value. We're gonna need like a bigger frequency, right? So like
Exactly.
20
Yeah.
at the least. Cool. And how do we slow him down? Is that the that's on the loop,
So
right? That's the follow update,
exactly.
or where
Yeah,
is
yeah,
it?
yeah. So we could go with the lower number
Move
there. So
along
it's in
curve.
the animate function. Yeah. He's getting tired. He's been working
He
hard.
is. He's been doing this for a while. There you go. Still a little zippy, but still pretty good. This is just fun though. And he's got the wiggle to him. Oh, what did I do? I broke it somehow.
Exactly.
Nice. What do you think, chat? How cool is that? And then yeah, you could do this with like a snake object or like anything that like would wiggle or move in this kind of way, or just like any kind of fish, sharks, right? Like
Exactly. And I was even thinking about like, so dolphins, because their mammals go up and down rather than left and right.
oh
So you need
yeah.
to just swap an X and a Y. I tried it and it doesn't work. There's a little bit more work that needs to be done, but it's
Got
not
it.
impossible to get it going.
Right, but you could still do the like get fish points, and instead of just going side to side, you also yeah you go up and that's really cool. That's so fun. Fish, it's alive. Wiggly horse would be funky. Not gonna lie, Andre. I like the way you think. I like the way you
I,
think.
I was thinking about going into Blender and trying to make a horsefish, but I don't have the skills and I didn't want to scare anyone. So
I think
we left it at just the goldfish.
yeah, no, that's perfect. For the Christmas episode, Ryan, you would know best. Um, Life made a seahorse, but did he also make a horsefish, or did he make some other kind of fish? I forget. So So for our holiday special, we had a progress bar that our friend Life made, so that it was like the ocean floor, and one version is just like covered in trash. There's like bottles floating down there. It's just like gross. And then as we raised the money, it transitioned into crystal clear blue water with a seahorse that swam back and forth, and also another fish. But I don't remember what that other fish was. I don't know if it was a horsefish, because there's a seahorse and a horsefish.
There's actually a horsefish.
Yeah. So
Cool.
I didn't know what it was until I had like this thing is not pretty. So that's a seahorse, but then this is a horsefish.
Wow.
So good luck modeling that. I don't think this is what he modeled. I think he had like something else, but very fun. Yeah, oh man, that is, I don't even know. That's a hoax. Yeah. They don't have teeth like that. Anyway, this is so neat. Was there anything else that we wanted to add on to this?
So this is pretty much as far as I had pushed it. Yeah.
No, that's great. That's just a lot of fun though. And then like, it's a Three.js scene, so you could do. I'm kind of curious to see it with lighting. Have you tried any non-ambient lighting? If we've got like some like
it should work fine. Let's go for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we'd love just to see it like lit from above a little bit. All right, where's our light? Light. Scene light. Here we go. Ambient light. So that's at like 1.25 is like
a lot.
Yeah, it's not just the normal amount. It's like and some, right? And a quarter.
Yeah.
So it's like the full brightness of the object and then a little bit. So I'm guessing it just starts out a bit dim. So we'll keep it there for now. So this will be const ambient light. And then what do you think? You want to do like does 3 have area lights? I always forget which ones it has from Blender, which ones it doesn't.
No, it's got directional light.
Okay, cool.
It's probably the
or like a horizon. What's the horizon one? That can be kind of a nice little hacky way to.
So that's the directional one where it's just got a vector and it's like the light is going that direction.
I think those are different, but
okay.
Horizon light 3.js hemisphere light. Sorry, not horizon. Hemisphere.
I haven't actually played with one of those before.
They're pretty cool. Because they do a light source positioned directly above the scene with color fading from the sky color to the ground color. So it kind of gives that nice impression of just a lit sky and not a lot coming from underneath.
Okay.
So let's see. We'll have to, I guess we can actually use the light because I changed the other one. So let's drop the intensity on the ambient. We go to like 0.2. Might need to bump up the hemisphere light a little bit. So scene add light, or maybe 1 point something. But you can see the bottom's got some shadows, right?
Yeah.
Like you're definitely getting a little bit of shading on that bottom. Yeah, so not like a huge wild difference or anything, but gives it a bit of
gets you
depth.
an awful lot at not much cost though.
Yeah, that's fun. This is just such a cool thing. Nino Pepper, Thomas, thank you for the sub. Always good to see you. 7 months. It has been a fantastic 7 months, Thomas. So good to see you always. Yeah, hemisphere light. Nice little trick. Let me see if dropping out the ambient light. I'm just curious what the. Okay.
You're adding it to the scene there
Good
as well.
Call.
And
Let's drop that part of it then. That's the safer bit to remove.
There we go.
So we'll have to crank that. Sorry, cool. I could tweak lights and thing. I could play with this absolutely all day.
And that is not where my skills are. I'm terrible at lighting and things. I'm still trying to learn all of that and try and do it well. So even learning about that.
We're going to combine our skills, David. We're going to make some really well lit wiggly fish, and it's going to be a profitable business, a very lucrative relationship. So I'm looking forward to it.
I can't wait to retire in a year. We're going to make all the money.
Aren't you the wiggly fish guy? I am.
Don't want to brag, but...
Oh, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Chat, let's give a big thanks to David for coming on and teach us some Three.js. One more thing I want to plug for you. You've been doing, I don't know if it's here, but you've been doing YouTube videos too, right?
Yes, so I was going to say that I've got a YouTube channel at youtube.com/c/lo-fi codes. I will pop that into the chat. And I also am going to do a little newsletter soon.
Awesome.
So I
Oh,
found
sorry.
for a long time, I found for a long time, like I was saying, there was all these jobs where I was making lists of things, and I thought that was web development. And then I found all this creative stuff, and I'm enjoying it a lot. So there's all different kinds of stuff out there. So it's going to be it's called URL Picnic, and it's going to
Oh,
be
you
a
got it
monthly,
already. Awesome. I love
yeah,
it.
it's going to be a monthly little sit down for some digital treats. Find yourself a little corner to have a little picnic on them, and it'll be different things like Three.js stuff or just interesting blog posts, but trying to give a wider view than the typical React and Vue and things like that.
Love it. Awesome. First issue on the first Monday of the month. David, that's great. This is really exciting, and I love the branding. This is so fun. That's really
It
good.
didn't exist yesterday, so it's been a bit of a panic to put it together, but
Well
it's
done.
worked
Yeah.
okay.
So, folks, you are one of the first people to be able to subscribe to URL Picnic. So please go give David some love with that. It's just a once a month newsletter. There's no way that's going to
Exactly.
bother you. So
And there's also going to be a Twitter or an RSS if you prefer to get things that way. So,
awesome. Cool. Well,
yeah.
well, good luck on this. I'm very excited for this. As you saw, I just signed up, so it's gonna be good. Nothing like a little
Yeah, thanks a
panic to
million.
force yourself to finish stuff. That is the truth. That is the absolute truth. Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. Amit,
A great
always good to see
motivation.
you. Thanks for coming through. I know you've been here, but just saying hey, as you did. But yeah,
And thanks
David.
to Ben as well, if he's still here. He gave me a subscription on the last show.
Oh,
So
nice.
thanks a million for that.
Perfect, Ben. Thank you. I think he has unfortunately trainings all week. If you're talking about
Ah,
Ben Myers, I believe, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, he's in training. But if he's watching this now, Ben, thank you so much. But yeah, we're gonna call it there. And I think our friend Jason Langsdorff is streaming with our other friend Ben Holmes over on their channel. So we're gonna go raid them. Please hang in there and let's go see what they're up to. Let's see. All right, and Thomas, hit David up in the Discord because maybe he can fix something for that. But yeah, cool. So hang in there. Let's go see what they're working on. Take care, everybody. We will see you next time.
Cool. Thanks a million.